If you're trying to buy a home and you're feeling stuck on coming up with a down payment, you've probably had this thought at least once. Well, I've got money sitting in my 401k. Can I just use that? And honestly, I get why it sounds tempting. There's even talk right now at a national level about making it easier for people to tap into retirement accounts to help them buy a home. But just because something is allowed doesn't always mean it's smart. In fact, one of the biggest risks has nothing to do with taxes or penalties, and most buyers don't discover it until years later. So stay tuned because I'll talk about that later in this video. Today, I want to walk you through what most buyers don't realize about using retirement funds for a down payment, the real risks, the long-term trade-offs, and a few safer alternatives that just may work better depending on your situation. Disclaimer here, I'm not a financial advisor, and you should always check with your financial advisor before making any large financial decisions. I'm just offering a real-world perspective from someone who helps people make big housing decisions every day. Hi friends, I'm Cheryl McCormick, a licensed realtor with the #1 ranked Rob Ellerman team at Reese Nichols Real Estate right here in Kansas City. On this channel, I help buyers and sellers make confident, well-timed real estate decisions, especially here in Johnson County, with honest conversations about what actually works in today's market. So let's dive in. So, why is this question coming up so often? Well, home prices are higher than they were a few years ago, and interest rates are higher, and life is just more expensive in general. So, it makes sense that people start looking around and thinking, well, where else could I pull money from? And for many people, their biggest pile of money that they have is in their retirement account. But here's the important thing to understand. Retirement accounts are designed for one main purpose: to support you later in life when you're no longer working. When you use that money early, you're not just borrowing from yourself, you're potentially changing what your future lifestyle looks like. So let's talk about the risks. Well, risk number one, taxes, penalties, and payback rules. Depending on how the withdrawal or loan is structured, you may owe income taxes, you may owe penalties, and if it's a loan, you usually have strict repayment terms. And if something changes, like you lose your job, you get ill, or you retire, and you can't repay it properly, it can turn into a taxable event. And that's a lot of risk to layer on top of buying a home, which already comes with expenses and uncertainty. Risk number two, a paid off house doesn't pay the bills. This is especially important for my viewers who are 50 plus, who are downsizing or thinking about retirement. I hear this a lot. If I can pull money out of my retirement, I can pay cash for my home, which means I won't really have many future expenses. But here's the reality. Even a paid off home still comes with property taxes, insurance, maintenance, healthcare costs, and possible long-term care. And those costs will likely rise over time. Retirement savings exist to help cover those things. And owning a home is wonderful, but it doesn't replace the need for liquid retirement assets. And if you're within about 5 years of retirement, this conversation becomes even more important. At that stage of life, you're typically shifting from growth mode into preservation mode. That means you're usually taking less investment risk. You have less time to recover from market downturns, and there's less runway to rebuild money once it's removed. So, when someone close to retirement pulls money out of their 401k for a home purchase, they're not just interrupting growth, they may be permanently shrinking their future income stream. Another piece people don't always think about is sequence of returns risk. If markets dip early in your retirement years and your account balance is already lower because you used part of it for a down payment, that combination can have a long-lasting impact on how long your money lasts. For many near retirees, maintaining liquidity and flexibility can be just as important as owning the home itself. That's why I always encourage buyers in this stage of life to talk with a trusted financial professional before using retirement funds, and to also explore other alternatives first. And the one risk that buyers don't really discover until they're close to retirement, you're interrupting the compounding effect. One of the biggest hidden costs of using retirement funds is that loss compounding. Money in a 401k isn't just sitting there, it's growing and growing over time. And when you pull money out, you don't just lose the amount you withdrew, you lose decades of potential growth on that money. Even a relatively small withdrawal today can turn into a much larger gap later in life. This is one of the reasons many financial professionals caution against treating retirement savings like a regular savings account. So, does it ever make sense to pull money out of retirement to buy a house? Well, there are situations where people explore this option carefully. One, when they work closely with a financial advisor. Two, when they use only a small portion. Three, when they have strong income and other savings. And four, when they have a clear repayment plan. The key word here is carefully. What worries me is when people consider it as a first option instead of a last resort option. So, what are some smarter alternatives to explore first? Well, before touching retirement funds for a down payment on a home, here are some options I encourage buyers to explore. One, down payment assistance programs. Many buyers don't realize that these exist, especially for first time or moderate income buyers. Two, gift funds from family. Many lenders often allow the use of gift funds for a down payment with proper documentation. Three, adjusting your price point or home type. Sometimes the easiest way to reduce the amount of cash needed for a home is to reduce the price of the house. You can look at townhomes, villas, condos, smaller homes, or even different neighborhoods, which can significantly reduce the amount of required cash. And four, saving with a plan. And sometimes the savings can occur sooner than later if you have a plan. Even a 6 to 12 month strategy for saving can help you reach your goals instead of rushing in without sufficient cash in hand. And number five, talk with a trusted lender early. They can help map out multiple scenarios so that you can see real numbers and not just guess. My job isn't to push anyone into buying a home at any cost. My job is to help you make a decision that still feels good 5, 10, 20 years from now. Sometimes that means buying now, and sometimes that means waiting, and sometimes that means adjusting the plan. There really is no one size fits all answer. It all depends on your situation. If you're considering a move, whether that's upsizing, downsizing, right-sizing, or planning your next chapter here in Johnson County, having a conversation early can make everything feel a lot clearer and a lot less stressful. If you'd like to talk through your own situation, I'm always happy to help. You can scan the QR code on your screen to schedule a quick, no-pressure Zoom call, or you'll find my phone number and email in the description below. My goal is to help you find your perfect home in your perfect neighborhood at your perfect price point without pressure, just helpful information. And if you found this video helpful, make sure you subscribe for more honest conversations about living and buying in Johnson County in the Kansas City area. Thanks for watching Living in Johnson County. This is Cheryl McCormick with the #1 ranked Rob Ellerman team at Reese Nichols Real Estate. I'll see you next time, and until then, stay safe, stay curious, and stay tuned for more exciting tours and real estate insights about Kansas City to come.